If Peter pecked a peck of how many pecks of Peter? If Peter picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter picked? The frustration of a tongue twister is really similar to the frustration of observational drawing. There's always something to categorize. In the case of Peter's pickled peppers, it's the "pe" sound. While you're drawing, you can see a really clear example of this categorization by squinting. Everything you see gets grouped together by its relative lightness or darkness. This is what your brain does automatically without any tools or interference. Our brain is really efficient, but it does do this in some pretty peculiar ways. This is where drawing can be like a tongue twister. For most of us, it's much easier to read one than say one. Over human evolution, artists have created tools to aid us in representing or reiterating these tongue twisters. In the 21st century, most of us have a camera at all times, and soon this camera is going to be equipped with LiDAR technology, which stands for light detection and ranging. It's a part of augmented reality that's used to create some of our popular filters on social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. LiDAR works by measuring the amount of reflected light that reaches the lens and the time it takes for that light to get there. Perceptually, when we're drawing, we use the same exact process for analyzing light. We are constantly compiling this information. At any given second, we're creating a LiDAR scan of our environment. So I'm going to ask, if the technologies we have are becoming so efficient at emulating biological functions, is drawing from life or observational art anything more than a hobby or practice? The point of art in the 21st century is to communicate, right? Augmented reality is increasingly being implemented as a mode of self-expression, entertainment, and communication. It is expanding our intimate social space by appealing to our human curiosity. More and more, we are being conditioned to understand procedural imagery. In tech, processes like these are often hidden to make for a more convenient experience for the consumer. Art thrives in extracting these complexities and exploring their creative limits. Through concealing these processes, tech companies are tightening the distance between human sense and artificial perception. We have never been able to see this side of ourselves in another creature capable of communicating their experience. Now that we have such a creature in our pocket, I believe art's dialogue with perception is ready to expand. It might prime us for future interactions with artificial sensory and social environments. In today's drawing, I'm working with observation, abstracting and filtering my sensation by using the emotive visual language painters have developed to communicate and represent the physical world. The difference between me and a LiDAR scan is pretty obvious. I'm inefficient, I'm biased while making aesthetic decisions, I make frivolous choices, and it takes me a really long time. As a painter, I come to a drawing with some goals and ideas for what it's going to be or what it's going to become. Lately, I've started off with these handmade gloves, which is a part of what I'm talking about here. As a living, breathing, acting creature, I want to interact with my space. I want to use my eyes and that process that I'm so familiar with to discover something new. When I just look at the artworks that inspire me, I am seeing a lot of these decisions, a lot of these goals, really defined choices that the artist made that aren't merely a recreation of that tongue twister. They aren't merely a recreation of all of this information in front of us. That's actually pretty impossible. You are collecting information always, and we can choose and find different emotional associations with these sensory topics or these sensory images.